March 8th marks an International Women's Day. And today, Voice of the Nation is at the Embassy of Israel. We're going to talk about feminism to one of the most active female diplomats in Thailand. So, Mrs. Ambassador, could you please tell me what is the role of feminism?
So thank you so much, and thank you for having me today. It's really a great opportunity, and thank you for given me the opportunity to speak with you and meet with you again and speak with your audience. I think that when it comes to feminism, I have to remind myself sometimes that feminism is a long way. I think that we all need, as women, we all need to thank our mothers and grandmothers and grandmothers for getting us to the point where we are today. Sometimes we take things for granted. Mm-hmm. When I look at my daughter and her friends, I realize that what they take for granted, for me, I had to fight for that, or at least I did not take it for granted. But when we speak about feminism overall, I think we're talking about having the same rights, having the same opportunities, regardless of your gender, avoiding discrimination against women, and really breaking, all the glass ceilings and having the same opportunities for men and women. Mm-hmm. When I look at our generation today, the days where we live, I think that we really did go a long way. The right of vote, that once women had to fight for that, or the way to dress in most countries. I think that today we kind of overcome it in many places. But we still see that women have more challenges, I think, from men. Women still need to face, even with issues like sex harassment, sex assaults, domestic violence against them. Not to mention, they are not getting paid the same as men. They are not getting treated the same as men. They always have to prove themselves worthy, much more than I believe is expected of men. So I believe that feminism, when I look at that, it's a very wide concept that we can look at, each one of us can look at that kind of individually where it is in our lives, but also we can look at that as kind of globally. Where are we as women today comparing to where we were, let's say, 100 or 50 years ago?
So we have come so far from women in the kitchen to women who works at the tops of, international companies, or even someone like you in the diplomat area. We have worked our way so far from back then to now. And I would like to ask you, for arriving to these positions, what have you fought before, back at your younger time?
So it's an interesting question. And I would start by saying that, again, if it comes back to feminism, it's also the right of every woman to choose what she wants. And some women wish to stay in the kitchen. They want to be at home and raise their children. And this is also okay. If this is what they wish, if this is not what their family wish, or the environment or society kind of demand of them. And I think this is very important. Now, about myself, I would say that I joined the Foreign Service in Israel about 30 years back. At that time, the number of women in the Foreign Service was much lower than today. And as I kind of went up the ladder, I think that I had to prove myself much more than the men around me at every stage. And many times I had to hear, remarks like, "Why are you jumping? Wait, your time will come." I never heard such sentences being said to men. Never. But for women, wait, it will come. just wait. And I never wanted to wait because I looked around me and I looked at the men and I never thought that they are better than me or they are more capable than me. And I thought that I deserve as well. So yes, I wanted to jump. I wanted to take the next step. And I had to, to work very hard for that. And even today, when I look at my career, the fact that after so many years, I was still the first woman to do something. For example, I was the Consul General in Mumbai. I was the first woman Consul General in Mumbai. I was the Inspector General of the Foreign Ministry. It's kind of a very high-level job. I was the first woman Inspector General. Here in Thailand, we've had so many ambassadors. I'm the second woman ambassador here. It means that still we have to take our steps, and I hope that when I look at the younger generation in the foreign ministry, today we have like the young people that we recruit, it's about half and half. So hopefully they will all survive at the foreign ministry, and after 30 years we can see that they have more or less the same numbers. But I believe, and I will say this one sentence, when we speak about gender equality, it starts from the men. And the men need to realize that it's not an issue for women. International Women's Day is not for women to celebrate. It is for the men also to acknowledge that women deserve the same rights, I would say, but also the same way of getting the same, being treated the same way. And I think we're not there yet, unfortunately. I don't want to be pessimistic.
How would you like to see it?
I would like to be treated by my capabilities only. Not because I'm a woman, so I will get promoted because we need to promote women. No, promote me if I'm good. Give me the job if I'm the right person for it. Unfortunately, for so many years, there has been discrimination against women in all top jobs all around the world,
right.
Whether it is in government, in political issues, in places, in big companies. Look how many CEOs you see today. Look how many members of parliament all over the world. How many ministers, how many prime ministers. The number of women is still very low, I believe. So I guess, yes, women should be pushed a little bit and get, some kind of advancement, I would say. But at the end, when you ask what is feminism, feminism for me is getting treated the same for my merits, for my capabilities, and also for my weaknesses. If I'm not good enough, it's not because I'm a woman, it's because I'm me and I'm not good enough for that job.
So just judge by the person.
Exactly.
Don't judge by the gender.
Exactly.
So when you talk about you are the first woman that was posted in Mumbai and the second woman ambassador in Bangkok, in Thailand. When you received that position, did you also receive criticisms from others like, can she make it? Have you received those type of comments too?
I think that in all top jobs, when you get the job, so some people ask, why did she get it? When you have to compete, when I came here, I had to compete for that job with another 19 people. Most of them men. I think there was one more woman. So of course people will say, no, she got it just because she's a woman and because they want to promote women now. No. And I told some people, them, no, I got it because I'm better than you, probably. And you don't want to say that, but if people push you to that point. So yes, there is sometimes criticism, but I think at the end of the day, the best answer to that is really to be the best you can in your job, to do whatever you can, to have like a good team, to have lots of activities, to be recognized wherever you live. And in your job, it doesn't matter if you are an ambassador or you are a CEO or a minister or anything top jobs, you have to be the best. And then no one can else people will always criticize, which is, this is the human nature, I think, for men, for women, it doesn't matter. But I think you should be the best and you should do it the utmost. And you should also realize that this is part of life. By the way, I think that part of the reason that women many times do not compete, you see many more men competing for top jobs, because women usually, if they don't go according to all the criteria, like if these are the criteria, so tick, 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 no, this I'm not, so I will not even put my name because I'm not exactly. And men will go for the job even if they have half of the criteria or 1/3. No, because they know they have the confidence. And women many times will not even compete. So I think for me, when I look at the young generation at the foreign ministry, in my country, I always try to encourage women, compete. Even if you lose once, you lose twice, but
at least try
it.
Right.
And put yourself over there and put yourself in the contest, in the competition, and be noticeable and speak up.
I like this because I feel like at least if you try, you give yourself a chance, and if it doesn't work, then you learn something out of it.
Exactly.
But if it works, then you prove yourself that you are capable to do this.
Yeah. And don't be shy. I mean, at the end of the day, women also, from my experience, women many times are very smart, and when they open their mouths and speak in big kind of discussions and conferences, they have lots to say. But many times they will prefer to let the men talk and be seated, in the second row behind. They will not sit next to the table. They will, they're kind of, and I think, no, be there, speak up, talk, and many times people will appreciate and they will get to learn to know you also. Otherwise, if you're so shy and quiet, and no one will notice you. So yes, I encourage women to
stand up.
To stand up and to believe, not only to understand, but to believe that they
be confident.
To be confident and to believe that they are smart enough, they are good enough, and they are maybe the best around the table or the best around the room, in the room. So,
Well, as of for you, you are an ambassador here. You're also a mother, wife, daughter, and you have many, many roles. How do you manage your, let's say, your roles or the hat that you wear, to be soft, to be a leader, to be feminine sometimes, and also, to work hard?
I think this is, I guess, in the 21st century, this is the challenge. How do you balance?
Right.
How do you balance, in my belief, not only workplace and home, how do you balance it also with yourself? You have hobbies that are not connected to home, they are not connected with the workplace. You like running, you like cooking, you like meditating, you like doing stuff for yourself to develop. You just like sitting and reading a book. Usually, in those hectic life that we all live, we try all the time to balance it all. And I guess sometimes it's not easy. You ask for myself, I have 3 children. I'm here with my husband and my youngest daughter. I have 2 sons in Israel that I miss very much. And they are not children anymore. They are 25 and 22, but I still miss them a lot. And I feel that the fact that we are not in Israel, I miss just being with them, listening to them, trying to help them if necessary. So how do we deal with that? I try to cover it by, talking with them every day on the phone, having those Zoom conversations. Next year, my daughter will also have to go to Israel. In Israel, we have a military service for men and women. So my daughter will graduate from school. She will have to join the military. So it's going to be really difficult. She will be there in the military. We will be here, my husband and me. What are we doing? So we'll try to be more in Israel, to visit more, to talk more on the phone. Our parents are not getting younger. We try all the time to follow it up. You always have to cover all bases. You have to be a good daughter and a good mother and a good ambassador, and you try to, to do it all. Sometimes you give up and you say, okay, so at this point of time, this is good enough. There is a book, I think, that is called Good Enough Mother. At a certain point, you say, "This, I am a good enough mother and a good enough daughter and a good enough wife and a good enough ambassador. I cannot be excellent all the time in everything. I cannot expect for myself." And I think this is one thing. You ask about feminism, it's also to understand that you need to be flexible. You need to know how to balance. And the most difficult, I believe, you need to give up for yourself. You need to tell yourself, I cannot do everything 100%. And believe me, for people that are perfectionists, sometimes it's challenging because you really want to do everything. You want to be mother of the year and one wife of the year and the best ambassador all over the world. You cannot. You have to realize that, okay, good enough is good enough. That's it. It's really,
And appreciate what you've done. Hug yourself.
Yeah, and tell yourself that I always believe, and I tell my children as well, do the best you can. Try, you study, do the best you can, but I will never ask them why you got only 82 and not 100. Of course, I will be very happy if you get 100, but I will never tell them, no, it's not good enough. Yeah, it was very difficult. You got 65 and you passed the test, don't even try to do it again. You passed, move on. You try to be, again, for myself, I always try to be the best, but I know with myself, inside, that it's impossible. You cannot cover all bases all the time.
How does Israel promote feminism?
I think that in Israel, today, you can see that you try to promote women, you try to support women. Again, I think that when we speak about feminism, it's not just in the workplace, but also to support women that are in need, women that suffer, for example, from domestic violence. How does the government deals with that, and what support they are being given? Again, it's not perfect, and we always have to get better, but it is better today than it used to be 20 years or 30 years ago. We need to give equal opportunities. Today we have a government with less women. Last government had more women. I think that it changes. It changes. We have and again, personally, I believe, as funny as it sounds, that sometimes men can promote women's rights and guard women as well. Men are not the enemy. They are part of this feminist struggle that we all together try, to promote.
To support each other.
Exactly. And by the way, when I think about it, regarding your previous question, I could never have become a diplomat and, be promoted in so many years if I didn't have my husband next to me. My husband basically has been supporting me throughout my career. And he's the one that for many, many years has been working from home. And he was there when the children came back from school. And he was the one that they called if they felt unwell during the day because they needed to go home. Because I walked about an hour's drive from there and I was never very close. And when I have to travel here or I have to work long hours, my husband is there, and he's not doing that because he's helping me. He's not helping me. This is our unit. This is our family. We do it together because it's ours. And this is how we built our families, our family. And this is what my children see at home. So I'm sure that when my two sons grow up and get married, they will not kind of help their wives, and they will not be there, come from work and expect their wife to cook, clean, do this and that, and go to work and look after the children. Because this is the model they saw at home, that you have partners that do things together. And yes, if my career is the one that requires more being out, they say that I'm the foreign minister of the house. I'm always out. Yes, but you have someone at home, someone that is stable, that someone that gives the children the feeling of stability, that they are not alone, their parents are not, So I think, it's partnership. It's really something that we do together. And in Israel, I see many couples that live like that, and many people that believe that it's not about helping women, but about building something together.
You say that in Israel, men and women who go into their military service when they reach a certain age, that means that your government is promoting for or give gender equality in this
that regard. I think that unfortunately in Israel we still need to have obligatory military service. When I was, for us, for every man or young person at the age of 18, doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, we need to join the military service. Before college, when my daughter is now on her last year of before college, she doesn't like all of her friends are considering going to colleges here, there, in the US, maybe in the UK. For her, she is thinking, where am I going to go in the military? Where can I actually volunteer? What can I do? And now, when I was a soldier, I was a tank instructor, meaning that I was riding on tanks and you know, doing this and driving and putting loading and shooting in big tanks. I think that it gave me personally, as I didn't even realize that at that point, but it really gave me the feeling that I can do everything. If at the age of 18 or 19, I can stand in front of a room full of young men, and I'm the one teaching them, I'm the one with the knowledge, I'm the one explaining to them how to use this huge machine.
Did you see the surprise from their face
No,
when they
because
see like, wow?
they knew that all of their instructors were women. We were all women.
Okay.
At that time, this was the most combat unit that I could join at that point. Of course, I could also sit at the office and do, but this, I really wanted to do that. Today in Israel, women can actually join, they can join combat units. They can be combat fighters, like pilots. They can join some units of artillery. They can go to some infantry units. They can really be part of fighting. Again, you can choose if you want it or not. For women, you can volunteer. You don't have to do that. You can choose that you want to go to intelligence or something else. But if you want, you can. And that wasn't an easy fight. And it had to go to the Supreme Court about 25 years ago. One girl wanted to become a pilot. They told her no. She went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court made the military accept her. Again, women do not get any, they don't give them any different levels. If you want to be a pilot, it's a very difficult and challenging way, but you have to do exactly the same as men. You have to carry, you have to do everything the same, but you have the chance. And today we have pilots, and we have other women that this is what they choose to do. They are strong, they have the strong will also, and they do it. So not always it's an easy kind of way, but it's there. And the fact that girls join the military, even if they just, sit in an office, they are being treated the same as men. It's not something that is, if they want to be promoted to be officers, they will go to be officers.
So from a tank instructor to now ambassador of Israel to Bangkok, to Thailand. How is the life of a woman in diplomats?
First of all, it's divided. First of all, how is the life in Thailand? Great. I think as a woman in Thailand, great as well. I don't feel any different treatment. Again, I'm not a man, so I don't know how I would have been treated as a man, but I feel that I'm treated in the best possible way. I'm getting, in meetings, I have the best possible treatment, and I don't see any difference. We have a small group of women ambassadors here in Bangkok. Today, I think we are about 12. Usually the number is between 12 to 15. It became a very closed group. some of the men wish to be there as well because they know that all the good stuff is happening in that group. We help
They're not
each other.
accepted, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Only women ambassadors. And it's interesting because we have women ambassadors from all over the globe, from all around the globe. We try to support each other. We meet at least once a month. We exchange views. We help each other to broaden our, circle of people here. I find it also fascinating to meet with women here in high officials, whether in government or in business or anywhere. Advisors, top advisors. It's fascinating. And again, I enjoy Thailand very much. And I enjoy the welcome here. It's really, I don't feel any, I would say, discrimination or anything, or being treated differently. I feel very lucky.
What are the main discussion when you girls get together?
It's about everything. It can be about life. Sometimes to get advice. As you ask some of the questions, how do you deal with that, and how do you deal with this? So it's good to have other people at the same position. Sometimes it's about how do you see, now we are about to have elections, how do you see the situation, what do you think will happen, political issues. Sometimes it's an advice. I have a problem with this and that. What would you have done? Do you know anyone that can help me? Some conversation that you would have even with male diplomats, I have to say. But the fact that it's a group, sometimes it gives you kind of confidence that we understand each other, we have same challenges, and we can help each other sometimes.
Girls power. So how did those discussions impact or benefits in Thai society? What were the work that you were discussing within that group, and also come out, as working together in the Thai society as well?
I think that we work less together as a group, but it gives you some ideas as to what to do and how to take some of this stuff. Like for me personally, and we are different because we are from different countries with different philosophies, and we are different people. One of the beautiful things that I believe in the diplomatic lives is that my predecessor and my successor and myself, we can be at the same place, but we will do a completely different job because of the way we look at the world and the way we believe what should an ambassador do. So if you believe, I believe, for example, that my role here, one of my main role is to promote trade and economic relations between our two countries. So I'm working in order to achieve that. So I would ask some advice from my friends. Do you know this? Do you know that? Can you connect me or stuff like that? But I also believe that I need to be a brand ambassador for my country. So you see this, for example, this is being a brand ambassador. You go to the Silk Show, which is something that is in Thailand, this is such a pride, and I was so honored to participate in the Silk Show here in Thailand. But I'm going to wear something that is blue and white and speak about my country, because I'm like the brand ambassador. When people see me, they see Israel. They need to see, the food technology in Israel, the agriculture of Israel, the water capabilities. They need to think about innovation, about creativity. This is like the brand I'm trying to talk about. So this is a brand. I also believe personally that the role of an embassy, the role of the ambassador, is to be a bridge between the country where you are being a guest and your country. And this is why it is not enough, in my opinion, to interact on the top government level or the top companies level, but you need to interact with people-to-people relations.
My last question is about, in the future, how would you like to see the role of feminism globally, of course?
So if we connect it to the first question, I would say that I think, unfortunately, the role of feminism is not over yet. And someone once said, I don't remember whom, so I don't want to say exactly, but when average women are going to be promoted to high-level jobs, the same way average men maybe are being promoted to top jobs, then maybe our job will be done in a way. But when I look at the situation today, first of all, I don't see full equality, and I still believe that the glass ceiling is there. Even the opposite, when I look at the future, I'm afraid that we are going to have more challenges. I believe that when we look globally, in many places, the gender issue is only part of larger oppression because of race, because of religion, because of sex. And then when we combine it with gender, with women, they are being oppressed even more. And you see in some countries in the world today that even like Iran, what happens today with the hijab, some women they have to go with some, clothes or to cover their heads or to cover their face. And I think that we need to understand that feminism is global. We need to help our sisters all over the world. We need to support. We need to demonstrate sometimes. We need to be there for women that are less fortunate. So it's not only about the workplace. It's about really about violence, about discrimination as a whole. And I think that we still have a long way to go. Now, having said that, also even if you look at the workplace, I believe that even today in 2021, there is still a pay gap. In most places, women and men are not going to earn the same amount of money. When we look at the future, if we don't encourage our daughters to go and study sciences, technology, mathematics, all of the STEM issues, they are going to be left behind, because the future today with AI and everything, you need to encourage girls to be part of that. Not to, say, yeah, but I want, I'm expected, my family expect me to do this and that and be at home at 1 o'clock to look after the kids. The future, when it comes to the workplace, I think the challenges will grow. One thing I believe has happened and is good, and this is the Me Too movement that started about 5-6 years ago. I think that it sent a message of no more. I think that women all over the world complain more today. They know how to stand for their rights. They don't let people touch them or grab them or stuff like that. And it gives them the legitimacy to speak up. And I think that almost every woman almost, when I look at my friends, and almost every woman had this feeling of sexual harassment at that level or this level or something. And I think it gave women more legitimacy. It also sent a very strong message to men, even very strong men: be careful, stop here. You cannot do what you used to do maybe before, and maybe at that time it was accepted. So I think in a way that is better today, and it improved. Again, when I look at the future, we need to make sure that we and our children and our daughters, they are safe. And we are, especially daughters, I'm not saying, I believe that men are in this category as well, but I really believe that we still have a way to go. So when we're talking about feminism in the future, we still need to make sure that we have equal rights, that we have gender equality, and that we don't suffer from discrimination and all sorts of violence and assaults. And still the war, it's not a war, I would say, but it's not over. We are not there yet. The way is still long.
The fight still on.
I don't want to I mean, I believe that we have a way to walk. I don't want to use words like wars or fights. I don't like that. Although I think that feminism also had that. But we still have to walk a long way, and we need to make sure that the path is there, and we don't move left and right, and we don't give up on things that we already have, we don't lose it because suddenly there is more conservatist government here or there or somewhere in the world. We have a path. We need to keep on walking. We have to keep what is ours, not to give it up. But we need to realize that, at least in my opinion, it's not going to be over very soon. I don't want to finish with that kind of a pessimistic note, but I believe every day of our lives, not only on International Women's Day, we need to do whatever we can to support women, to support women in need around us globally. And this is something that can never be taken from us. And I think this is the message, that we need to finish with an optimist message, that the road is open.
It's our role today to make it happen in the future.
Yes.
And for today, thank you very much, Mrs. Ambassador, and happy
so
International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day. Thank you very much for having me. ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ